The Minister for Science and Technology, Obunaya Onu, says the country is intensifying efforts at using genetic engineering technology to ensure food security in the country.
He is positive this will help cut down on imports. Lara Folayo reports.
One of the newly introduced technologies for food production in Nigeria is genetic modification. The country's science and technology authorities feel modern-day challenges in agriculture, raw materials production, and even medication require more advanced technologies.
Genetic engineering and biotechnology have very important roles to play in the search of our great nation to be in a position to ensure that we can feed all our citizens and start the process of producing locally many of the things that we now import from outside.
The BT cotton and BT cowpea are two genetically engineered crop varieties already approved for commercial and environmental release in Nigeria, respectively. The country's promoters share thoughts on the potential benefits for the agriculture sector.
Using biotechnology in the next few years, we expect to see a major, massive revolution in the area of food production. Like between now and December, we target to produce for this country 1 million elite yam seedlings. And we can only do this because we will be adopting advanced biotechnology referred to as aquaponics.
I visited Adamawa State and I interacted with a farmer who was given the seeds. He said he planted it for like 3 weeks. There was no rain, there was drought, along with his own seeds. But do you know that when rain came, our own seeds germinated, but their own seeds did not. He had to replant the conventional seeds. And presently he said he hasn't done any spray. But when you look at the Vigo, I mean, no insects on those, on those BT seeds.
Joining me now is the Executive Director, Go Green Africa Initiative, Agribusiness Development Coach, Adini Sholabumi. Adini, it's good to have you join me right now. Now, when it comes to the issue of genetically modified or genetically engineered products or agricultural products, a lot of people see it as bad signs. What's your perspective on this? Make us understand.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Everything now is bad and also has the good part of it. Now, let's talk about the good before the bad. The good part of GMO is the fact that it's been able to resist drought, able to resist some form of disease, able to also produce more than the conventional seeds inputs. But in the other aspect, I think the major challenge is awareness. Most times we just put these things out there. We don't really orientate people about the benefits. So naturally people tend to say, oh, what is this? This is going to kill us and that. The only thing for me as an agri person, as a farmer, is the fact that as time goes on, in areas where we only have BT cowpea and BT cotton, but in areas where GMO has been adopted, there is this argument that over the period of time, your land then begin to get used to a particular type of weed, which a particular type of chemical or input will be the one you can use for that. So that is actually like restricting you to a company saying that, okay, you cannot buy any other form of input from another place. It probably might not work on that land because of the GMO input I have there. I can only keep going by my input from a particular company. And this company is a bit attached to the company that produces the GMO. All right, so a lot of people in agri sector are really not happy about.
Yes. So as a country that is known for agriculture over the decades, what consideration should we put in place right now, considering our peculiarity or our uniqueness, if I have to put it that way?
Yes, thank you. What the first thing we're supposed to do is before adaptation, we should have tried as much as possible to sit down and look at this thing holistically. And after checking it and see, okay, these things are good for us because of this reason want to multiply our production in cotton, in soya, in others, then you need to like collaborate with the stakeholders and do proper awareness, expose input users to all the available options. Let people have say in what they want to use. You don't just bring, because by the time the problem comes, you don't know what to do because you don't have anybody to talk to. So in Nigeria, here in this country, we need to keep working on food production because the population is increasing and a lot of things are really happening. But we need to make sure, before we adopt anything, we must make sure that we check it out. And even if it is possible, modify it, to our own system, which, like you said, is a peculiar system.
All right, Adeni Sholabumi, thank you very much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast.
All right, Minister for Science and Technology Ugbonnaya Onu says the country is intensifying efforts at using genetic engineering technology to ensure food security in the country. He is positive this will help cut down on imports. Lara Folayan reports.
One of the newly introduced technologies for food production in Nigeria is genetic modification. The country's science and technology authorities feel modern-day challenges in agriculture, raw materials production, and even medication require more advanced technologies.
Genetic engineering and biotechnology have very important roles to play in the search of our great nation to be in a position to ensure that we can feed all our citizens and start the process of producing locally many of the things that we now import from outside.
The BT cotton and BT cowpea are two genetically engineered crop varieties already approved for commercial and environmental release in Nigeria, respectively. The country's promoters share thoughts on the potential benefits for the agriculture sector.
Using biotechnology in the next few years, we expect to see a major, massive revolution in the area of food production. Like between now and December, we target to produce for this country 1 million elite yam seedlings. And we can only do this because we will be adopting advanced biotechnology referred to as aquaponics.
I visited Adamawa State and I interacted with a farmer who was given the seeds. He said he planted it for like 3 weeks. There was no rain, there was drought, along with his own seeds. But do you know that when rain came, our own seeds germinated, but their own seeds did not. He had to replant the conventional seeds. And presently he said he hasn't done any spray.
Well, joining me now is the Executive Director, Go Green Africa Initiative, Agribusiness Development Coach, Adeni Sholabumi. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, quickly talk to us about genetically engineered technology. Because we are looking at three things here. We are looking at genetics, we are looking at engineering, and then we're also talking technology.
Yes, I would like to use a layman language, saying modification of an existing input in agriculture. Modification which is thought on the positive side that, okay, fine, let's work on this seed for us to get maximum yield, for us to get disease resistant and every other thing. But there are a lot of things around GMO, good, bad, different school of thought around it. So GMO simply means modification of an existing input, which can be for your seeds, can be for your fruits, depending on what you're adopting, for it to be disease resistant and to produce more under harsh condition. Just like the reporter said, that there wasn't no rain and the plant was able to stand, and when rain comes, the plant was up.
But there has been concerns raised about this genetically modified foods, where it is discovered that most oftentimes their shelf life is very short.
Yes, thank you. For me, I'm actually an advocate of no GMO. I don't know if I'm fit to say this morning. I'm an advocate of no GMO, because before you talk about sustainability. There must be provision. What do you want to sustain? You see, in Nigeria, we like to always play around those big grammars. We always like to copy things that we don't really know much about. Currently, the problem is, are we even doing anything in agribusiness? We are only an agricultural economy. We are not an agribusiness economy. We produce to even waste it ourselves. So it's not really about the fact that we are not producing. Majorly, the problem here is what we are producing is not even getting to where it's supposed to get to in terms of the people that need it and in terms of you making money with what you produce. Another thing is, how do you produce? Who produce? And do we even have people that are ready to support you in production? So
All right.
it's a bit complicated. It's a bit complicated.
As complicated as it is, we'll definitely demystify it very soon. Adeni Sholabumi, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.